The following is a short tutorial introducing the Lessons tool in D2L. This Lessons tool is an alternative tool to the content browser tool that we're currently using. In Lessons, it has a new design and some added features. So let's take a look. If we go into Content Browser, you're going to see the original way we had it. So in this one, I've added some content. So I've added a unit module, I've added Lesson 1, and inside Lesson 1, I've added a couple different types of files, a PDF and a PowerPoint. What's really nice about this Lessons tool is that we can click on this chevron and we can switch back and forth depending on what we're doing. So for now, I'm going to turn it on and you're going to see how it looks different, and we'll show you some of the different functionalities. As you can see, there's a total different design. You can see it's color coded down the left hand side, and they have a different layout, and we're going to take you through that layout right now. If we look at how our other content that we put in earlier looks, we can just click on Unit 1 and see that we have Unit 1, Lesson 1, and then the materials that we wanted inside Lesson 1 right there. You can see that it's nice because it's color coded and it cascades nicely down into the different levels. So I'm going to show you how we create another unit and a lesson within that unit. You would go to the cog, and in the cog you could just add a unit. So I'm going to say this is Unit 2. And I can just save. You can see I can put a description there if I want, and you can see how nicely it is that it's color coded between the units. If I wanted to add in a lesson into Unit 2, if I'm clicked on Unit 2, I can just add a lesson, and in this lesson I'm going to say this is lesson number 1 of Unit 2, and I can save it. So this gives us the organization. Another nice feature is if you're in the lesson, you can drop this down and you can have subfolders within lessons. So say I'm just going to write folder for this case, and I can organize my material into different folders. And it's nice. And if you double click on these, they fold down. So it gives us a nice streamlined look, easy for you and for students to navigate. You're going to notice that these items have this hidden from student logo. Once you create, whether it be a unit or whether it be a lesson, they originally come in hidden from students. To unhide them, you can just make visible to students. You're going to see that as you go through, you can just go to this ellipse tool and then make it visible when needed. So that's kind of a nice feature that as you're working on it, they're not seeing it. So we're going to make this visible. Now, if we think back to the original content tool, what we would do is we design our module and then a submodule, and then we would click on the new button and then we would add our content that way. Lessons is designed a little different and it's really visual. So I'm going to show you how this works. If in lesson 1 per se, we wanted to add some material. So if I go to material, you can see I have this really visual way to select where I want to pull the material from. So assignments is the same as a Dropbox. So if I click on assignments, I can go in there and you can see I have some assignments already created or some Dropboxes. So if I click here to create a new Dropbox, I can create it directly within the Lessons tool. So I'm going to say Lessons tool right inside here, and if I scroll down, I'm just going to create an insert. So if I create an insert, you're going to see under the folder tool, there's lessons, right? If I want to go to my lessons to actually edit it and add in assessments and different things, I can just click there and it will take me right there. And if a student was to click that there, it would take them right to where they submit their lessons to. Right? So if we go back to lesson 1, you can see that we can add material. Quiz is very similar. You can create a quiz within the lessons and it will direct you right to where you can edit it. You can add in hyperlinks. You can create discussions using the discussion tool. You can add in a variety of different files just by clicking on this button and selecting where the file is and choosing it. Documents is similar in content to where you're actually creating a file. What's nice about documents is that it gives you the ability to use all the insert stuff tools. This essentially allows you to add anything you really want to this document, and then you would just post it. We'll just keep going through them. One of the really nice things that they've added is the ability to connect to Google Drive. I really think this is a huge piece for us because you can go in and say, for instance, this is a Google Slides. I can select it and add it. And what's really nice about it, it's actually going to embed it for me. So I don't have to go get the embed code. I can can simply go in here and go through the PowerPoint presentation. This is the same for Google. Like if you put a video into Google Drive or you put an image into Google Drive, it doesn't just put it in as a file, link that's going to send you to that file. It actually embeds it directly in, right? So that's a great feature. So if I go back to lessons and I go to add material, we can see that it also does it for OneDrive. There's a variety of external learning tools built into here. So you can see Gizmos, Mindomo, tools like that you can actually go right from the lessons tool. The virtual classroom tool is good. It's very similar to Adobe Connect, where students come in and you could be running a lesson and they could do it virtually from home. Great way to support students. And the video assignments tool is where students are able to submit assignments via video directly from this tool. So they could record themselves via their webcam and then submit it directly to you. So there's a whole lot of tools within here that you're able to add material from, and it's really quick and easy. So if we go back here, you're going to see that my lessons are here. Remember, at any point I can click on these lessons and drag them in. So if I wanted to drag them up, I could drag them into whatever one I wanted. So it's nice and quick to organize them, and you can see that the layout is really nice. So it's kind of a great way to do it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to close these down to give you that view. So here's the next part, and this is really impressive. One thing teachers are always looking to do is connect what they're doing to the curriculum expectations or the standards. So you can see right above here that they have standards and have a percentage. So what this does is you can actually bring in the standards from Ontario curriculum into your class. So you can see for this one that I've brought in some standards. I'm going to add or remove standards. So if I go to add or remove standards, I can go in there and I can scroll through. So for instance, if I wanted to go in to Ontario curriculum, right? So I'm going to find Ontario. You can see they have English and French. I can select a subject. So I'm going to select English. I'm going to, there's your expectations. So I'm going to go from the grade 9, 10, and I can say from grade 9. I can pull these in and I can say I'm teaching an applied class. I can pull these in and import them directly into my class, right? And so once these are imported, you're going to see, and they have the units that I've created here already previously set up. So one of the nice things about this is that when I go back here, let's just say this one that's called D2L connection event. If I click on that file, I can then go in here and view standards. So when I click on view standards, I can edit standard alignment. So I can say that this aligns up with these two standards, and then I can just save the changes, right? So then if I went to the lessons tool, now, once I got out of here, if I went to the lessons tool now, I could easily view the standards and align them up. So let's just say I'll do expectation 1.2 and save changes. So you can go through and attach standards to everything. This is where it's really nice. You can see this went from 0 to 2%. If I click on standards now, it's going to give me a view of how many times. So in unit 2, I've covered expectation 1.1 once and expectation 2.1 twice. So just to give you another look at that, if I was to go into unit 1 now and say this file, I was to select it and then I was to add a standard to here, I'm going to edit standards and I'm going to add the 1.1 again to this one. Now you're going to see when I go back here, if I click on standards, it's going to say in unit 1, I've covered that expectation once, and now in unit 2, I've covered that expectation once and 1.2 twice. So it tracks what expectations you're covering. Another nice feature is they have a checkbox which says display only standards which have no course material. So if you quickly want to see what you have not covered, you can click on that box. So that's another nice feature. Just a couple last things to show you is that if you look inside of here, this button right here allows you to download content. If you go into edit, this is how you would change the unit names or the lesson names. So it's Just click in there and you'll see, and under here you're going to see this is where you view the standards, hide from students. If you want to add in release conditions, you can reorder, and this is where you delete. So there's a lot of nice functions within lessons that weren't in content, so it's easy to turn on. Just remember to go to that chevron and you can turn it on or leave it off depending on where you're at or what you're looking for, but it's definitely something to explore and something we're very excited to introduce to you. Thank you for watching this short tutorial on lessons.